welcome to another fun, unfiltered body review, and it's a special one for several reasons. First, we're comparing two work trucks. We have the new Ford F-150 XLT and an all-new 2019 Ram 1500 Tradesman. I also have a surprise guest reviewer today, and an unfiltered body review goes like this. We take it on our loop, each truck, we do a 0 to 60 on the merging on the highway, we're doing an infotainment system check, we're doing a sound check inside the cabin, we show you all of the features of the truck, and we also do a rough road test with a hula girl, and finally we'll give you our rating. Buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, and you can find out which truck is better. Is it the XLT from Ford or the Tradesman from Ram? But I also need a buddy.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
There's Nathan.
That's right. These trucks are, yeah, of course they're trucks, but they're very different in the philosophy of how they're built and the way they run.
And we don't get base trucks very often. We usually get fully loaded ones.
Yep.
So this is why I'm really excited about this particular episode. By the way, they're not base price.
No, not at all.
44 grand includes a lot of options, and we'll show you this in a second. Can you pop the hood?
You got it.
All right, we're gonna do the Ram first. We're gonna take it on the highway after we go over what's under the hood, because this is a V6 Pentastar, and every V6 Pentastar for 2019 comes with an e-torque system, which is an electric motor down here, and the rating on this particular engine is 305 horsepower and 269 pound-feet of torque, which is the same as before.
That's right, but with the e-torque system, you get a little bit better performance off the line, at least with EPA numbers.
Yeah, and I've been driving this truck for a couple days, about 19 and a half combined, which for a big four-wheel drive truck, which this is, it's a good number.
Yeah, now this comes with the 8-speed automatic transmission, unlike the Ford, which has a 10, and it also, yes, it's a four-wheel drive vehicle, so there's a lot of weight that this vehicle is carrying.
Yes, and a 355 rear end. But let's show the styling just really quick. This also has the chrome package, as you can see in the front, and the unique look, because the base Tradesman trucks have a larger headlight. If you're going to like a top-of-the-line Longhorn or Limited, you're going to have a skinnier headlight over here. Let me show you the bed feature just really quick before we get going. As a base truck, there is no assist on the tailgate. You have to save money somewhere, right? But this has the bed liner, and this has this utility track system for securing ropes, and also lights. There's a light on the other side as well. You can see that right there.
Yeah, those are really handy for tying down.
But, dude, we also have a surprise reviewer today.
Yes, we do. Come on, guys.
A surprise reviewer. So let's get in the truck. You will be surprised.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Steven, what?
What's going on, everybody?
Steven Elmer, guys. He's our TFL off-road managing editor.
Heck yeah, and
But
I do
you're-
some trucks sometimes too.
Hell yeah, and you're here from Canada, and you're helping us review trucks as always.
Enjoying a week down here in Boulder, and we've been having lots of fun with all kinds of different machines, and I can't wait to get out here. This is my first real world buddy review.
Right.
I can't wait to see how this whole thing goes down.
Yeah, and Nathan, let's talk about the rear seat space. I mean, these cabs are getting huge.
I have spread out space galore.
It's so
And
nice.
The floor is pretty much flat, so an extra body, Andre, could go on the floor, Roman unconscious, something like that. And one thing I really like, yes, it's a very, it's basically a base model truck. Vents are still in the back. That's something that, thank you for doing.
They're taking care of us.
They're taking care of the passengers, which is fantastic.
But guys, look, also on this truck, we have push-button start.
That's nice.
For Tradesman.
It's standard, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the line.
This has a towing package, so we do have a trailer brake controller and towing mirrors. So, and here's a Monroney. So, what's the final price?
So total price here, $44,275. And yeah, we got a couple options here. There's the trailer tow group. I think you mentioned outside it's got the chrome package, so it looks a little nicer than just an absolute base truck.
Yeah.
And then there's an equipment group here. You get the Sirius XM, different things, the floor mats. So there's a couple options here. It's not absolutely base.
Yep. And you get a smaller screen.
It's tiny.
It does have a backup camera.
It
'cause
looks
it has
tiny, especially because we've been in limiteds, right? And you get the 12-inch, so now it just looks funny.
But they do have an 8-inch screen, which is available, and that one's pretty good.
The 8-inch works really well.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's almost a little simpler than the 12-inch, to be
I
honest.
agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I brought tape because I wanted to measure the screen.
Sure.
Because the rear camera, do diagonal. Do the diagonal. So what is that? That's about 4 inches?
Yeah, a little more.
Okay. So I want to compare that to the Ford.
Yeah.
Because everybody's saying, how small can you go? Or
Ford's pretty small too.
How big can you go? But this is, this is where you're saving money.
Absolutely.
But look at this. 6-person seating.
That is nice.
That I like.
You don't see bench seats too often anymore.
It is optional in the Ford though, so they do have that option as well. But it's such a handy thing for utility. And look, trust me, having kids and having to pick them up, and then also you have an extra kid or two in the car. It really does help to have that. There's another thing I wanted to point out, which I really do like about this truck. The fit and finish, granted, the materials are pretty cheap. If you feel the dash, the plastics are really, hard. There's no foam up there.
Yeah.
But the design looks modern, looks up to date. It doesn't look tired.
Yeah.
And everything looks like it fits together really nice.
You know what I really like, and I've said this about the Limited, is even here, this is a different material than this and this and this. So it's like,
exactly
it seems like there's been a lot of like time really put into just all those little things. Whereas this could all just be black plastic, and then it would just be ugly, right?
Yeah.
And just because it's cheap doesn't mean it has to look ugly, and I don't think this does. To your point, absolutely.
I think that's exactly how the committee, when they were figuring this thing out, wanted it to be. Hey, just because we're spending less money on this version doesn't mean it has to look like we did.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Now,
really well done.
I just noticed this right here. They do have their 2 USB ports, but they're really buried down here in this truck.
Yeah, they are.
Down there.
But at least they're there, and the USB-C is also available.
Yeah, that is pretty neat.
But let's get on the highway really quick and do a 0 to 60. This is the merge lane.
This is with 4 humans in here, 3 of them being large.
four boys in here, so we're fully loaded. Let's zero out the solid DL. And I'm gonna
Chewy.
hit it.
I think we're going to go about 11. That's my guess.
Yeah.
It revs really high, this V6.
No kidding, it revs high.
Yep, it's the
6,500 RPM.
Ooh, 10?
With 4 people.
10.41. Once
Not
again,
bad.
it's dead on.
Yeah, I'll
Really
take
close to being
it.
dead on.
Can you see that?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad. And we're a mile above sea level.
A mile above sea level, so we have about 70% less air density here. So that's fairly impressive for this truck.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the bigger V8 trucks were doing like 8 seconds and stuff, right? So only 2 seconds worse. It's not crazy.
So let's be quiet for a second while we measure the sound check.
Sure, absolutely. Let's see how loud this puppy is. And we'll get that cranked on. Hold on, actually. Let me double check that because I was talking.
Don't talk when you turn it on.
Okay, silence. Okay, there it is. It's stuck at 68.5.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
We're climbing a gentle hill here on the highway.
Yeah.
Let's see in the same place at the same speed how the Ford performs.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as sound.
Speaking of performance, Andre, snarfs.
Snarfs.
Yes.
So we always do an infotainment system check.
This test.
You really hate it?
I really, truly do. I think it's...
Yes.
Yeah, okay, anyway,
So
let's
try something here. Navigation.
I didn't understand what you said.
Oh, that's a bad start.
You try.
Navigation.
There are no phones connected. Connect to phone.
Oh.
We didn't even get to the part of asking for the store.
Yeah.
No, but this doesn't have built-in navigation.
No, you're right. See, it just
That's
has the
right.
compass, so you don't have even the option to ask for snarfs.
So how do we use the compass to get to Snarf? That's gonna be...
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
we go south by southwest and we'll be fine. The way the crow flies, we'll just go. Let's go 4-wheel drive. We're good.
No, but the point is, you connect your phone, your smart device, right, and you can talk to either Siri or either Android or Apple.
Yeah.
So that's available. But we try to do this test because eventually, trucks and cars will get to a point to natural speech detection, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping, at least. Now we're about to come up on our next test. This is a rough road coming up, and so Steven, the hula girl, on the dash,
beginning
will
to
be
dance.
See that?
Will be dance. I said will be dance. God, something like Andre. Will be dancing, and when she starts moving, we rate it from all the way from a 10 being way too much. Is that right? 10?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then 1 being like no motion at all.
Okay.
So we're going to see how much
we're
she
coming up
moves.
on this right here.
So let's watch her dance.
All right, dance, girl, dance.
It's the favorite part of my day.
Of of course, the Ram has coil springs all the way around.
all the way around.
Yeah.
Rear axle.
Yeah, and you feel it. You definitely feel the difference. No stiffness coming out of the back end.
Yeah.
Not as much, anyway.
And we have, we have 4 people in here, so we do have a little bit of payload.
The hell yeah, we do.
Which helps, actually, I think. She's really doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have seen her dance before. What do you think?
I would say a 4. A 4 to me is a good rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that rating. She just was on the cusp of a 5, but she got it together.
Well, this would be a 10.
Oh, that's a real 10.
that's
That's an 11.
11.
Yeah, that's an 11.
I'm sorry. I just went to 11. Well,
And Andre, please be
That's
nice to
okay.
that little girl.
I'll take care of her now. I'll take care of her now.
Thank
Andre.
you.
I'm sorry.
He's abusive.
The other thing about this is, powertrain is it has start-stop. You can disable it using a button down here, but right now, let me turn the blinker off. The engine is off.
Well, and the thing with start-stop is the stop is always fine. It's always the start, right? It's some starts can be rougher than others. So let's sort of see.
Let's try. Yeah, just one second.
Couldn't even hear it.
That was
which
a
is
nice
good-
start. Watch it.
Andre.
Okay. I almost.
The brakes are good here too.
The brakes
Brakes are quite good.
No, but the thing is, the e-torque helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You can tell that.
You could feel that it kind of gets you going, and then the engine starts.
Yeah. No, it was really, really quiet, smooth restart. And stop-start systems can be annoying if the start is really pronounced, right? But if you don't really feel it, then what's the big deal? And that was well done. That was well dealt with.
On this vehicle, what's interesting is that if you really put your foot down on the brake in traffic, it'll kill the engine. But if you lightly touch the brake, as if you're going through stop and go traffic, it'll let it run, which is great.
Smart.
Yeah, it prevents it from shutting down, turning back on, shutting down.
Yeah, and in stop and go, I've had that happen. It's annoying.
That's exactly it. So this one's a relatively intelligent system. Altogether, this truck as a package, and I drove it, and I actually took kids in it. I put some, cargo in it. I've done stuff with this truck. I think that this, perhaps with a different color, would be the ideal truck for a majority of people who are looking for a good work and home truck.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I think the truth of the matter is a lot of guys still want a V8,
You're absolutely right.
and they probably don't need it, frankly.
That's
true.
true.
They'll still go for it. But I think you're right. This truck offers everything you're gonna need in a truck. Absolutely.
Speaking of V8s, we're gonna have a V8 truck.
Yeah.
In the Ford.
Yeah, that's going to be a cool comparison to feel that getting out of this thing.
But here's the thing about the Ford. It's been refreshed for 18, right? They have a new grille, new headlights.
Yeah.
They've updated, a little bit underneath, like they talked about a little beefier axle. They bumped their payload numbers just a little bit. But it's kind of been around since 15, right? It came out in 2015. This truck is brand new. Chevy has a brand new truck, GM, with the Sierra. And the funny thing is, both Ram and the GM, they're not offering regular cabs in the new style, in the new generation yet.
Yeah. And as far as I know, anyways, Ram hasn't even said they're going to offer one. I haven't heard them confirm it.
Being very coy about that.
Whereas I think Chevy said it's coming, but it's coming later.
Right.
Whereas Ram won't even say they're going to build one yet, and there's just maybe no business case for it. I don't know who's buying red cabs anymore.
Well, they're also selling the current generation at the same time.
Of course.
So that's the stopgap
Yeah,
measure.
so if you want a red cab, you get the Classic, right?
Right.
The Ram Classic, which is the current body style, or the previous body style.
Absolutely, that's what they call it, and that's how you get kind of the the cheaper price, the cheaper entry price, and also, like, if you're not sure about the new technology, right? Because a lot of people are apprehensive about e-torque, what is that, how it's going to last, stuff like that. And by the way, at the end of this, when we do both trucks, we're going to have to rate.
Buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it.
Yes.
Which is the patent TFL, rating.
Yes.
It's an interesting thing with these trucks and how the philosophies are different. Ford, either they have 4 engines for the half ton, or more. No, 5 because the diesel just came out.
Big EcoBoost, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's 5, right? Because you got the base V6.
Yeah.
Then you have there's 6. There's 2 EcoBoosts. There's actually 3 EcoBoosts because you got the one that's in the Raptor and now the Limited, right?
Yeah.
So 3 EcoBoosts, the regular V6, and then the Coyote, which is in this one we're going to be driving.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
The Power Stroke.
the new Power Stroke.
Diesel, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, no, Ford I think has always done that really well, and I think the other brands have played catch up a little bit in offering just more options, more body styles, more engines in more body styles, Ford's always been sort of the master at, you can really configure that truck to fit your needs, and Ram and Chevy now you can, but I think they kind of played catch up a little bit with Ford in that area.
Yeah, well, with the Ram, I mean, the engine we have now is their base engine, the V6, which is the Pentastar, and it's proven itself to be a reliable, strong power plant. But it's no longer as new and fresh as it used to be, right? I mean,
actually, yeah, Ram definitely did the least in this upgrade, or the new body style with the engines, right? Like they did e-torque, which is cool, and I mean, I think it is offering a benefit. It would have been nice to see something new. However, I think they spent all their money right here in the interior rather than under the hood, and I don't totally fault them for that.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. So they've definitely done some things, but once again, Ram might be one of those companies that just decides later on that they're going to do more upgrades to the power plant later on.
All right, I'm taking care of the hula girl now. I'm gonna treat her nice.
Good,
I'm
yeah.
gonna treat her nice.
Andre smacking around and knocking her all over the cockpit.
Let's talk about.
These are the two most boring colors we could have had, huh? White and gray.
Yeah.
But these are base work trucks, dude. Come on. You have the key for this?
Yes, I do.
Can you pop the hood? Boys, let's look under the hood, because it's kind of rare to have a V8 engine and kind of a work truck, and we have it here finally.
Package. Absolutely.
This is a two-wheel drive truck, and both of these trucks are here for our testing. So we're doing iGauntlet runs, we're doing efficiency runs. So all those videos are coming to TFL Truck YouTube channel. But look at this Mustang motor.
Yeah, it's right out of the Mustang, basically.
Different tuning.
And I mean, this engine's been around for a while too, so no question of reliability here. This 5 liter's been in everything. It's been around.
395 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque, and a 10-speed.
Yeah, all of those things are unique to this truck as opposed to the one we just drove. And what is with this massive airbox thingy here?
I think they do this to also like sound tuning, the induction noise.
Yeah.
And it probably has to do with emissions. There's a lot of different things going on under the hood. By the way, let's check the bed, because this one for $44 approximately does not have a bed liner, which is kind of interesting. Right, right. Let's check the back.
How about a step?
Nope.
No step in it either, and no bed liner. Okay, well, how about a damped tailgate? Let's drop the tailgate and see how it drops.
Yep. Whoa.
She slams. No damp tailgate here, just like in the Ram too.
This is aluminum all throughout.
No doubt you could have ordered the bed liner here, right? But yeah, for that much money, you think that it would have already been included for sure.
So this is where the balances start to change between the Ram and this truck, because with the Ram at about the same price, you were able to get the bed liner. However, you didn't get the V8.
Right, and the V8 is not the base motor. Like you said,
right.
The V6 3.3 liter is their base motor, which will bring the price way down. And then there's a 2.7, which is between that and this.
Yeah.
So you're paying for that power, you're paying for that V8 engine, basically.
That is correct.
Let's jump in.
Okay. Yeah, there's no lights. There's no lights.
No lights, no
lights,
track system here.
Not much. Not even too many tie-downs either. Pretty basic.
Yep. So we've already talked about the fact that it's basically the same design as before, so we don't really have to talk about that.
Right, and how about the rear space?
You know what'd be great? If I gave you the key. By the way, guys, not a push-button start, which is standard in the Ram. You gotta use a key.
Actually, key? Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, right. It feels funny after you get in so many push-button trucks to have to use the key again.
Oh, yeah. Fumbling for it and just like, where does it go?
Here's our information here.
Yeah. We can take a look at the build sheet here. So our total price on this thing, before discounts, $45,660, and then afterwards, a total MSRP after these discounts added on, $43,910. So basically 44 grand. So the Ram's a few bucks more expensive, right? But really not all that bad. And this thing for options, what has it got on it? Of course it has the 5 liter. Now in this truck, that 5 liter V8 is a $1,995 option, which actually isn't crazy, right? $2 grand for the big V8. I don't know, to me that doesn't sound like a ton of money.
Hell of a V8.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how quick it is. And this truck is configured in an interesting way. It's not a 6-seater. Even though you can have that as a configuration,
yeah, this console.
But they have a column shift.
Interesting.
So this thing is kind of going away in a lot of trucks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Ford and GM still has it too, right?
Yeah.
They didn't get rid of the column shift.
And mode select here on so you can do eco mode. You can.
Oh, they still have the modes in this truck too.
Yeah,
that's cool.
For XLT, you can still have that. I just went to sport.
Sport mode.
All right. Now we're ready to boogie.
Okay.
They're from the right.
Because we will be doing a 0 to 60 in a minute. So you do have a lot of configuration, obviously 10-speed as well, which is impressive because you would think, 10-speed is like a premium feature.
Yeah.
But
it's included everywhere too, right?
Right.
Except for the base V6 on this truck. That one doesn't get the 10-speed, is that correct? I believe
Right,
that's
the 3.3.
Yeah, that's the only one that doesn't get it now.
Right. Really quickly, let's measure the screen when we stop so we can kind of see.
It looks smaller. Just eyeballing it, it looks a little smaller. So let's sort of go across
Let me throw it in reverse.
Actually, it's a little
still
smaller,
about
maybe,
4.
but it's just basically 4 inches, maybe a smidge more to like the Ram.
The Ram, by the way, the screen is deceptive because there's actually black borders on
all the way around
plastic, so
Yeah.
they're about the same size.
Yeah.
And that's an unfortunate size, to be honest with you. I would pay the extra money for a larger screen. I do not like having to squint and see, when I'm backing up, what's going on.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah, and now every truck has standard reverse cameras.
Yeah, you have to, right?
Yep.
It's law
It's
now.
regular.
It is the law of the
Everything-
land.
Yeah, everything has a rear view camera.
Now, can I go into the interior real quick?
Yeah,
Because there's something that I
please.
didn't notice before.
Okay.
So with the Ford, you do get something that you didn't get with the Ram, and that is both seats have pockets. Now, I know that sounds like that's a big deal. You're nitpicking. No,
It's almost like a given, right?
The other one didn't have it. The Ram,
Right.
neither seat had the rear pocket, so
Right.
that's cool. And yes, once again, rear vents, awesome. You're able to use a plug. That's wonderful. Look at that, too. And then, of course, for heavy smokers, right there.
Because all of us smoke so much.
Everybody smokes so
No.
much.
Talking about connectivity up here, I only see one USB port.
Yeah, there's 2 in the back.
Is there 2 in the back? That's not bad. Funny that there'd only be 1 up front and
might
then
be
2
one
in the
in the,
back.
center
1
console.
in there?
There's a cigarette lighter power port in there.
Power port.
Okay, so not bad, but not quite as good as the Ram. And then, the 12 volt up here as well.
Yep.
Which
It's-
sometimes can be a plug, right? If you get the higher trim truck.
Yeah, you
which
can
is
believe
get
nice.
so.
an actual 110 volt.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
absolutely. So I'm in sport mode, boys. There's still 4 of us in here.
Yeah, 5 liter. It's got to be a clear second better, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be in the high 9s.
Do it. Ooh,
Yeah.
Oh, it
Line
sounds okay
speed.
too.
Sounds good.
Ooh!
Oh, no way!
Wow.
What?
That's crazy.
Did you see that?
That's nuts.
That's so
That's
good.
so much faster than I thought it would be.
I mean, it felt it. It certainly felt it
Yes.
off the line. Like it really, really kicked.
That's
off.
fast for a car.
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
4
man.
people?
Is that high 7? 7.1?
Yeah.
7.28, wasn't it? If you check
Yep,
the memory.
7.28.
Blows it, man.
And
Wow.
then 10.4 in the V6 in
Yeah.
the Ram.
So there's a significant difference. So what you're paying for is a hot dog engine.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really are. And a 10-speed automatic transmission.
Yeah,
Right,
the
so much-
transmission stuff, and the fact that you got sport mode, right? You don't
Yeah.
have that, something like that in the Ram. So this thing is actually changing the shift mapping and making sure you're getting maximum power. Right?
Yeah, let's check the sound. Let's just
Sure.
be quiet for just a second. We're in the
Okay.
same
I
area.
can take it in.
Okay. Silence. Okay, it was 68.
Is that the same?
That was the exact same, right? I think the Ram was 68 point something, but basically
pretty
the
much the
exact
same.
And yeah, just using the ear test, I'd say so.
Yeah.
And but both really quiet. I mean, that's the thing. The number only tells you so much. In the real world, these things they're really quiet now. It's unbelievable, especially for work trucks. You hear the word work truck, you think loud and clunky, but it's so not the case anymore.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when you would buy a work truck, there was always a screw or two that was like under the floorboard that you could hear rattling around, like
sure.
out of the factory.
Yeah.
And
No,
the headliner
that was an
stuck-
option. That
yeah,
was
it
an
was an option. If you wanted extra noise, you just pay a little less.
Exactly.
Yeah, but nowadays, just the quiet tuning has really gone to a new level, and that's great for consumers.
Absolutely. And actually, the good thing is that it's quiet, but when you do put your foot to the floor, you hear that V8. It sounds
beautiful.
good.
It's glorious.
The Pentastar sounded like it was working. It sounded like it's a little wheezy.
It sounded like a V6,
Yeah.
industrial almost, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Okay. I'm getting hungry, boys.
Okay,
Okay.
So
Snarfs.
I'm gonna call out Snarfs. Okay.
See what happens.
Snarfs is a sandwich shop.
place. Yeah.
Please say a command.
Navigation.
I didn't get that. You can say AM, FM, USB, or Sirius. If the phone is
No
connected,
nav.
Yeah, no
you can
nav.
say
Once again,
call, followed
right.
by the name of the contact, like call John Smith, or dial, followed
know
by
John
the phone
Smith?
number, like dial
course.
555-0155.
Wow, really?
Cancel.
Canceling.
Oh, well, understood that.
Oh, she's
Yeah,
very,
actually, she did all right.
very nice.
It responded pretty quickly too, actually, even to tell you that it didn't have navigation, right?
Yeah, it did.
I'm trying to see if I can get a compass here like I could in the Ram, because that's kind of nice to have.
Maybe on the
Sorta.
info.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's radio text. No, not even a compass.
All right. Well, the girl is beginning to dance.
Yep,
Okay.
we're on the rough road now.
Stick her on there, good.
Okay. She secure. This has leaves in the back.
I can feel it, I don't know you guys, but like you can feel the difference right away.
Yeah, I can too.
Just in the butt test,
Yes.
like I can feel the stiffness coming out the back end.
I would say 6. Nathan, where are you at?
Yeah, I think I might agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
She moved a little bit more. She's moving a little bit more, just in general. It's interesting that the Ford was one of the first truck companies to take the leaves and put them outboard of the frame instead of inboard or underneath the frame. And for a little while, they were like the ride kings. And then Ram comes along and does coils all around and completely changes the entire thing. Still, yeah, okay, this bounced around a little tiny bit more, but with a load back there, I'm willing to bet that it would be on par with the Ram.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right.
Here's the thing about this two-wheel drive truck, which we don't get many of. Payload numbers are very high. Even for this crew cab here, the payload rating is 2,048 pounds.
Wow, that's good.
So it's over 2,000 pounds. But talking about leaves, right? You can configure it with heavy-duty suspension to over 3,000 pounds of payload for the F-150.
Yeah.
That's higher than any other truck in the half-ton segment.
Well, that's creeping up to
That's-
1-ton truck zones.
Yeah, it's like
That's
3/4
crazy.
ton, 1-ton territory
Right.
from a half-ton. I don't know who would do it. Maybe if you're carrying a camper, like on your truck, maybe you want to go to that heavy suspension.
Yeah. Because you have all the tongue weight.
You put the Suzuki in the
That
back.
is a lot of weight.
Yeah, you could do a little Samurai in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I think what Ford does best, and we kind of touched on it already, is choice.
Yeah,
Choice
choices.
and options. For example, every engine, we talked about engine choices. Like you can get 4 different engines in an XLT.
Yeah.
Nobody else can deliver that. Nissan has one choice for the half-ton.
Yeah.
1 V8. Toyota has 2 V8s.
Yeah.
Ram, we just discussed, has three options really because of the e-torque
Yeah, sure.
option. So I think Ford does choice probably the best.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I mean, GM is catching up now. GM's going to have 5 engines soon, right? They got the V6, 2 V8s, the small turbo, and the diesel.
Yes.
So they're getting there. But again, they're still playing catch up. Ford has definitely been dominating that for a while, and they still do. And nice to be able to get, base truck, big engine. That is nice,
Yeah, this truck has a lot going for it, but I once again default back to the old days where I realize that Ford is still behind when it comes to fit and finish on interiors.
Yeah,
It's that
you
one
look- if you
section
look
right there
here-
that just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And by now, they've had that for years, and it's uneven. It always has been. It never fits quite right. It's always showing a gap, and frankly, you'd think that they'd figure something out to cover that up.
Yeah.
I mean, anything. So, yeah, I think the Ram definitely takes it when it comes to interior fit and finish.
Yeah, I think you're right. And yeah, I mean, just to the point I made, like just one big piece of black plastic, and
Yep.
it just doesn't look nice to your eye, It just, the Ram does a lot of little things which make a big difference just visually, straight up.
The
Yep.
bar has been moved.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But
Yes.
the other side of it, the positives, big buttons for the most part, except for the numbers on the right. But big buttons, big knobs, easy to use gloves with, and everything else. So
Yeah.
it really, ergonomically speaking,
Still a
good
CD
layout.
player. Yeah.
yeah, and it has a CD player.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
That's a throwback, right?
Yeah, maybe there's a hidden tape player somewhere.
Is there an
Where's the
8-track?
8-track? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a give and take with this, and even if you go all the way up to the platinum truck, you still actually have that same gap, which is I'm sorry, it's inexcusable for a truck that costs what, $70,000.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely, man.
And Ford, obviously, we mentioned like different cab configurations. Right now, they're a full line, right? They offer
got
every
everything.
cab, every wheelbase you can imagine, right?
Yeah.
They're really good at that once again. And as far as different configurations, there must be millions of ways you can configure
Yeah, I'd believe it.
a truck with different colors, different sizes, different bed sizes. This is a shorter bed,
Sure.
right? You can get a longer bed option. And just
You can get
nuts.
a Raptor too. I mean, and even that has different configurations.
Sure.
So I mean, it's incredible. They really do. And once again, it's kind of give and take with Ford. They just do some things incredibly well.
So we got to think about our ratings. So we're going to pull up, and we're going to have to rate it, buy it, lease it, rate it, rent it, or forget it.
Okay.
I think I know what I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think I got my ratings down now too.
Okay. So we'll just hit the ratings and keep going towards more testing, right? Because we got to do more towing. Gauntlet runs.
Yeah, these things will be really cool to see how they do with the weight behind them.
So, Stephen, this was your first unfiltered review.
Yeah.
Basically, all of it shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I mean, the toughest part was pretending that we're buddies.
Yeah, I know.
Because, the whole buddy aspect
I
of
know.
it.
I know you're Canadian. I haven't gotten over that yet. So, yeah.
But no, honestly, great format. It's the unfiltered aspect of it is exactly that, unfiltered. These are our real thoughts. Every other video you see are really highly edited, and I think they look really nice.
and
But
everything.
yeah, this comes across as real as can be, because that's what we're being, right?
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Let's see what the ratings are.
Yep, I will give the Ram a buy it, without a doubt. I think that, after living with it for a little while, really well done. Really well done truck. Everything you need, nothing you don't, if you know what I mean?
Okay.
This is a lease it.
Okay.
It's a little too Spartan for the price, I think. And for the price, if it's not going to offer four-wheel drive, then it should have a bedliner and a couple other things. So it's kind of in that territory of lease it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, now I'm just going to be boring because I have the exact same ratings. The Ram for me has to be a buy it for the same reasons. I mean, for that price, you're getting the four-wheel drive, you're getting a little bit more. The interior is nicer, and then just ride and handling. I mean, a lot of people do drive these trucks empty, and that truck just feels nicer when it's empty. And then the F-150 has got to be a lease it because it's quite good, and it does do some things better than the Ram, like Andre mentioned, the payload rating. If that's what you really value, go for the Ford. But overall, it's just not quite as nice. Doesn't offer quite as much for the value or for the money.
So I have to give Ram a buy it because I reviewed the Ram already in a different video and I gave it a buy it, and for the same reason. Love the truck, love how it works, but I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna say buy it for the Ford.
Okay.
And my reason really is it's the engine and it's the powertrain in this truck. Yes, I would configure it a little bit differently if it was my money. I would configure this truck a little bit differently. Like I would maybe skip on some things. And get four-wheel drive, maybe an XL four-wheel drive with a V8.
Sure.
So that's where I am.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. Well, guys, while the sun is coming out, we're finally warming up. I think it's time to sign off.
And go back to tfltruck.com for more news, views, and
Real-world truck reviews and buddy reviews and unfiltered reviews and Ike reviews and Gold Pitch
we should go to
reviews.
Snarfs eventually.
Yeah,
I'd like that. I've never even been to Snarfs. I've only heard of it. I don't even know if it exists.
See you guys. Okay.
See ya.
Okay, bye.